Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Townhall. My name is Eric Frazier. It's a beautiful day in Southern California, a great day to talk about real estate. And folks, our Homebuyer Townhall is every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and it's for you, first-time homebuyer, move-up buyer, investor, anybody needing to buy a house. And of course, a primary residence. And you need financing. You're not paying cash. You need some help. And so we're going to talk today about financing real estate, but we're also going to talk about getting competitive in this market as a buyer. What can you do to be more competitive, to have some type of advantage to buy a home in today's market? And it is very challenging. With me today are experts in the field of real estate. I'm so glad they're with me today. They are VIP agents. They do an extraordinary job every day helping people to achieve the American dream of homeownership. So let's get started with introductions. With me today is Jenny Gonzalez out of Corona. Welcome, Jenny, to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Townhall.
It's a pleasure as always, Eric. This is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. My license number is 01249788. I've been licensed since 1998. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374. And I serve all of Southern California, and I am blessed to be on the show again today. And I hope we get some really great information out there.
Jenny, I am confident that our listeners and viewers are going to get some great information. You always do a great job. Next up is Peggie Simmons out of Arizona. Welcome, Peggie, to the show.
Good afternoon, Eric, and good afternoon, everyone. I am a real estate broker owner in the Tempe area, Arizona area. My broker number is BR02309500. I serve the entire Phoenix metro area from condos to castles. Whatever it is that you're looking for, we have it.
I love that, from condos to castles. You know, I might be in the market for a castle, but I'm not sure if we're going to be in Arizona.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Peggie. Next up is Adrian Bates out of the City of Angels. Elahee is in the house. Adrian, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. So glad to be here. I'm Adrian Bates, better known as Broker Bates. My DRE number is 009-29036. My phone number is 323-291-5900. I'm Broker Bates with A1 Realty, powered by EXP. So happy to be here. Thank you so much, Eric.
You are very welcome. Adrian and I just completed a first-time homebuyer seminar not too long ago. Folks, you can find her on our website as a VIP agent. And not only Adrian is an EXP agent, but so is Ameer Elahee, another staple here on The Power Is Now. He's a VIP agent. Welcome, Ameer, to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Town Hall.
Thanks, Eric. It's always good to be with you. I'm excited to be here today. My name is Ameer Elahee with EXP Realty. My number is 013-13504. And I'm excited about the opportunities to be able to help people get into homes, especially in this market.
Ameer, you have taken the words right out of my mouth, helping people to get into homes, especially in this market. Well, folks, that's what we're going to be talking about next. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. You've just met all the VIP agents. Go to thepowerisnow.com, and there you'll find under real estate affiliates our VIP agents. These are extraordinary individuals with years of experience. They can help you get into a home today. You're listening to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Town Home. We'll be right back right after this commercial break.
Many Californians fear that they will not be able to pay their rent next month. Financial education and literacy are the catalyst for relief. So what resources are out there? A State of California program connects you with a HUD-certified housing counselor who can assist you on your financial education journey with no cost to you. Call today at 1-800-569-4287. Again, that is 1-800-569-4287.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to The Power is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. We are live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, folks, where you can get some great information on how to buy a home, how to finance a home. Where's the money at? Somebody show me the money, right? To get into a house, because that's the number one barrier for most people. And here with us also to talk about the money is Carolyn Sunseri from the Golden State Finance Authority. Welcome, Carolyn, to the show.
Thank you for having me tonight. I am so pleased to join this excellent group of real estate agents and to address affordability, talk about this subject, how to get into a home in today's market.
Well, Carolyn, we appreciate your support. We can always count on Carolyn Sunseri and the Golden State Finance Authority to join us on our Homebuyer Town Hall. And folks, they have a lot to offer, from programs of down payment and closing cost assistance. And Carolyn is going to talk about that today. So our topic to begin this show is very important. It's something that I'm hearing about all the time. You can't turn on the television without hearing about buyers who are extremely frustrated, unable to get into a home, being beat out either in terms of price or not having enough money to put down. It's just many challenges, but I want you to know that there are solutions with every person who is being priced out or whose offers are not being accepted. There is someone who is getting in. And I know we can count you in that number. And so my question to this panel of experts today is, what can buyers do to be more competitive in making offers to buy a home today? It's a very challenging market. And I know that they can do it if they first don't give up. They could just keep making offers. But there may be some things that you can do as a buyer, first-time home buyer, move-up buyer, or even investor to get into that next acquisition. And so let's begin the discussion. We're going to start off with Jenny Gonzalez out of Corona, California. Jenny, what can buyers do to get into a home today in today's market?
I think the number one thing, Eric, is to find the right real estate agent. Not to find the right app, not to find the right website, but to find the right agent. That is your number one thing. If you don't find the right agent, you have no idea what's going to happen. You can find a home in 6 months. You can find a home in 4 months. You may find a home in a week. But what is that agent going to do for you if they're not the right agent? That's number one. Number two, expectations. I personally will sit down with each of my buyers. I have one right now that I have a wonderful story to tell, but we sat down and had our expectation talk, what my expectations were of them, their expectations of me, and about the market. We had realistic expectations. If you're looking at 550, then you're really looking at 500. And that's kind of the situation that we're in right now. Most markets, they're paying $50,000 to $100,000 over list price on homes. So if you're going in at list price or under list price or a couple thousand over list price, you're not going to be getting that home. I by chance found a home for my client and we got $10,000 over asking price, but it was on the market for 3 weeks. And I found out the reason why it was on the market for 3 weeks because the agent told me the seller was a little slow in responding to offers, so to have a little patience. So that's what we did. We had a little patience and they accepted our offer as written, $10,000 over asking price. Okay. We did our inspection the very next day. That is very important. You have to keep your inspections. I did a 7-day inspection period. The next day we went out there. The inspector found he can see light through to the roof in the attic. So it needs roof and it needs termite and it needs electrical. And these things my buyer was not expecting. The electrical maybe, but not the roof, a whole new roof and termite. So what is more important than having a negotiator in kind? I've been told I'm relentless with my negotiations with inspections. So I actually kind of sent the inspection to the agent, but I don't say anything. I just forward it to the agent so they could see it themselves. And just wait a little bit because my client was kind of like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? Because what we did is we said, okay, how much is a roof? How much is termite going to cost you? How much is electrical going to cost you? And we figured that out, and it was still under market value, which they were paying on the property. And then they have a converted garage into a bedroom that is done in workmanlike manner. So all they have to do after close of escrow is get that permitted, and they're adding another 400 square feet. So instead of having an 800 square foot home, they're going to have a 1,400 square foot home and have a ton of equity. And at this point in time, the other agent has put our inspection period on hold until the appraisal code comes out. Because guess what? It's an FHA buyer that I got accepted. And so when that inspector goes up there and looks in the attic, they're going to call stuff out. So at that point, we're going to renegotiate. And he's already asking me how much credit the buyer wants. And the buyer was not expecting a credit. All they were expecting was the general things. So a lot of times you need an agent that doesn't talk too much, but actually negotiates in a kind way and not in a pushful way. Number 3, with regards to offer, have the buyer write an offer that's going to be accepted. Find out what the comps are. Tell your buyer, if you want to get a house, you need to write an offer that's going to be accepted as it is, or at least be able to get a counter. Because if you're writing offer after offer after offer, there is something going on. You're obviously lost on price, or you're lost, period. And that pre-approval is key, because every single agent is using those pre-approvals as cross qualifications on the listings. So regardless, you've got to get pre-qualified, you have to have an expert negotiator, and you have to have a person that's really good at inspections. I call that stuff out. First day I went out there, I did my personal inspection, and almost everything that was on that inspection was something that I didn't know about the termites, but I saw the roof. Because I saw nails sticking out, I knew it was frayed on the edges. After 22 years, you kind of know kind of things. So those are my 3 things.
Thank you, Jenny, for the top three things that buyers can do. And I love the fact that your number 1 item was finding the right agent. You know, that's why we have the VIP agent program. Because to be a VIP agent, you have to be vetted, you have to have experience, you really have to know what you're doing and be able to, especially navigate in a marketplace like that exists today. So thank you for sharing those great tips. Next up is Peggie Simmons out of Arizona with years of experience. Peggie, what say you?
Well, Eric, I won't necessarily piggyback on what Jenny had to say, but in finding the right agent, it's important to find a professional agent, because the right person may be the right person for you, but is that person a professional? So my number 1 thing is, certainly with that professional, you want to be number 1 says, absolutely ready to buy. Many times when people come into the market, they think they're ready to buy, but they may not be all the way ready to buy. So be absolutely ready to buy. And when I say ready to buy, if you know the offer that you have to present, the people are wanting a 30-day close, a 15-day close, a 20-day close, be absolutely ready to meet the demands of that seller for the property that you're making your offer on. And my number 2 was, be willing to meet the market demands. And when I say meet the market demands, if your market where you're trying to buy, if you're in a market where you have to waive the appraisal, you may have to waive the inspections, you may have to shorten your inspection period, be ready to meet that demand, because, you know, the old demand may have said it's typical that there is a 10-day inspection period, but the market that we're in right now, they may want you to do the inspection within 5 days. They may, you know, want you to waive the appraisal. And I say, be absolutely ready to meet the demands of this market. And my 3rd thing was, know your limits. Many times buyers come into this market and they anticipate, okay, I can just offer whatever the list price is. But we all know in your market, if the homes are selling 30, 40, 50,000 above asking price, know your limit. Know that you may have an extra 20,000 in the bank to be able to meet an appraisal shortfall. So know that limit, but don't come in saying, okay, 30,000, I can give 30,000 above asking price, but you know full well you don't have 30,000 additional dollars. So know your limit. And those are my three things. Be prepared to know your limits, be prepared to just be in the market, whatever the market demands are, and be very decisive in this market. You can't wait, overnight and say, give me 24 hours to sleep on it, because that 24 hours, in hour number one, someone has already made an offer. So those are my three top things.
Outstanding, Peggy. And again, interesting, two VIP agents are talking about, number one, being the agent, right? Being the agent. And Jenny says the right agent, and Peggy says the professional agent, right? The right agent who's professional. And for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Peggy, but for me, professionalism is being on time, right? Being fully prepared, having done your homework on the market area, on the property that you're intending to make an offer on, being able to show the numbers and to not just tell the buyer what to do, but to show the buyer how you're leading them to this conclusion or this decision as to what the offer should be. Would you agree with that, Peggy?
I would agree with that, because right now that, the professionalism in our industry, it's frowned upon in a lot of ways, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. But being ready to, if you have the experience and the knowledge, you're standing on the ground, like Jenny said. She was able to look and see nails popping. She was able to see certain things. And so the professional that you're working with, you want to know that they have experience in standing on the ground and looking at things. Maybe perhaps we don't have ladders in our cars, huh, Jenny, where we can climb up on a ladder and get up and look at the roof. But with the number of years of experience that we all have as professionals, as part of the VIP network, we can stand on the ground and look at certain things. I can look at a tile roof and see that some of the tiles may be slipped in a certain section on the roof. I can look and see, okay, there's peeling paint at the foundation, at the stem wall. I can see those types of things. And if you're going with an FHA buyer, you know that stem wall is going to have to be painted in order for you to get that FHA loan through. So yes, the professional, it is important to hire a professional.
Outstanding, Peggy. Thank you so much. Folks, as you can see, these VIP agents are bringing it. Now, let's take another view here from a professional lender. Carolyn Sunseri, Director of Marketing from the Golden State Finance Authority, has something to say as well as to what buyers can do to compete in this marketplace. Carolyn, what say you?
This is such a great discussion. Thank you for having me participate. Just hearing the perspective from the real estate agents is wonderful. I'd like to throw out there to maybe consider properties and be flexible about the type of property that you're considering buying. A lot of times people pigeonhole themselves into exactly what they want this dream home to look like in square footage and amenities and what it looks like in its condition, in what the front yard looks like. And I think in this market, you need to be thinking about the potential for that home, what you're going to put into that home, and not just where it is today. So is it a matter of considering a property that maybe needs some landscape work, but is priced in a lower price range to where you would be able to afford that house and put some labor and money into making the curbs, the curb appeal better? If you have a house that has some problems with it, do you just turn away and say, well, there's problems with this roof? Or are you willing to look at, is it priced in such a way I can address some improvements, some renovations to it? There are products that can even be coupled with down payment assistance to provide money to work on a house. There is a product from FHA called an energy efficient mortgage, which allows you to finance into the transaction the cost of improving some of the energy issues, like putting in a new heating and air unit, or addressing some duct work, or some insulation in the home as a part of your home purchase. And it can help you to take care of those issues at the time you buy it without having to go out and find a house that has everything perfect. That program from FHA, Energy Efficient Mortgages, can even be coupled with down payment assistance programs, such as the ones that Golden State Finance Authority offers. And we're going to talk about those in a little bit. But consider some things outside the box. And you're right, it's working with the agents who are familiar with these things too. Another product that might be worth looking into is a renovation loan, which does a lot of improvements as a part of that initial purchase as well. And then there's things like, have you ever considered buying a 2-unit property, a duplex? Instead of a single family house with just a standalone unit, what if you purchased a 2-unit property where you live in one side, you rent out the other? You know, there are oftentimes duplexes available on the market when, you know, a buyer's not even considering those. And you can qualify for one, you know, you can qualify for the purchase based on the rent you're going to be bringing in on that other unit. And if this isn't your forever home, it may become an investment property even more. So think outside the box when it comes to the property itself is my advice.
Carolyn, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know, most first-time home buyers do have this idea, this romantic idea of the white picket fence and the 3, you know, beds and 2 baths, big backyard, single family, wood frame construction house, you know, and a great neighborhood 1 block from the school, right? And the reality is that everybody wants that. And so it's a very competitive product they're looking for. And there may not be as much competition for a 2-unit or a 3-unit or a 4-unit because a lot of those amenities that I just, like the white picket fence and the big backyard, you know, those things aren't there. But you also made another point that I think I love. I love this saying: you're buying a house to get into the game. This is not your forever home. Man, I need to do something with that. I'm gonna write a poem about that, my forever home, right? Because many people do have that you know, that mindset. You know, they're trying to get it all now, trying to do it all now. You know, they're buying too much home, and then the home has to be perfect in every conceivable way. Just get in, right?
It's amazing to me how many cosmetic things can make a buyer hesitate. And I'm sure you all have experienced this before. Things that, you know, it just takes a few cans of paint, you know, a few pieces of trim work to fix that trim around that door that looks ugly, you know, to change something. And some of it takes a little bit of labor, maybe a little bit of practice, learning some new skill. But sometimes it's cosmetic things that can keep someone from buying a home that is priced within their range. And so the agents, I'm sure you are all doing this, trying to educate people to look outside that box.
Carolyn, again, a great job, great information. And I know you speak from experience in having to get in there and put your own creative juices to work and repairing or improving property. Next up is Adrian Bates out of the City of Angels. Adrian, what say you?
Well, I just want to piggyback on what my colleague just said. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. When my husband and I bought our first house, we'd always had a duplex or units, and I'm a unit specialist. I was looking for my sister-in-law, and she needed a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 4-bedroom, 2-bath because she had a large family. Well, I found this probate house, was the worst house on the block. And she says, oh, no. And so I put her in another area. She bought the house. I got to thinking, I said, I always wanted a Spanish stucco house. And these girls, I have 3 girls. And I said, these girls always come in the bathroom with me no matter what. And I need 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. So guess what? I bought a probate. My husband, as we walked up on the property the day of the auction. He said, "You've lost your mind." I said, "No, this is a good house." Well, let me tell you, we won the bid, and within a week, he had lined up the painter. We had a tree that fell in the backyard. He said, "Oh, this is the worst backyard. It looks like they're coming to Vietnam or something." But it needed work. But let me tell you, we're the second owners of record. The previous lady, she lived in the home for 47 years. It had the original linoleum. It had a heater in the fireplace that never had been used. And I think she always took baths because the shower was in pristine condition. So what I'm saying to you is look at what it could be, what it could be. The house might be yellow and you might want white, but all that can be fixed. Just like Carolyn said, a little bit of cosmetics, a little bit of paint, little elbow grease, as the old folks say. So I'm going to say to you, know at least 2 to 3 areas that you would want to live in. I had a couple wanted to live in Diamond Bar, but we looked at Hacienda Heights and, you know, Southern California. We even looked in the Valley. So I'm going to say no to two to three areas that you would love to live in, and maybe we can make it happen. And I say prayer changes things, and that it's very important to know that you need 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's not your forever home, but sit and be still and write a little list of what you had to have. See, I had 3 girls, so I needed another bathroom. I needed 3 bedrooms, 2 baths for the girls, and a backyard so they could play and have a sleepover or camp out, whatever. And 30 some odd years later, I didn't think this was going to be my forever home. It's still not. I probably might move to Palm Springs or the Inland Empire or Vegas. Who knows what life has in store for me. But let me tell you, it has been so rewarding. We all put a little elbow grease. The girls did flowers and plants. And let me tell you, this has truly been a family home where we've had graduation parties, birthday parties, sleepovers, everything you can imagine. And so all my nieces and nephews say, "Auntie, this is the family home." Even though it's my home, it's the family home. So think about 2 to 3 areas that you would like to live in. Think about what you need. What do you need right now? Do you need another, maybe you need 2 bedrooms, or maybe you need 3 bedrooms, or maybe you need 4. But think about what your needs are right now, because all we have is today. The next thing is be patient. Please be patient. This is the market that we've never, ever seen, ever, ever. You'll never see these interest rates again, I guarantee you. The banks always make money when the interest rates are a little higher. So you might pay a little more, but in the long run, you're going to win, because what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of foreclosures probably in the next 4 to 6 months, and definitely next year, because so many people are out of work. So just be patient. And the last thing, trust your team. Once you hire your professional real estate agent, trust your team, and they will, you know, walk you through. We have disclosures and paperwork that can give you what to expect, you know, how we look for the property, how we negotiate the transaction. The seller says yes, you put your good faith deposit in, and Eric goes and does your loan and the appraisal. I mean, we'll give you the keys to your dream home. So just be patient. We're here to help serve you, and it is our pleasure to serve you. But be patient, sit still, say a little prayer, and think about what you really need right now, and name 2 or 3 areas that will work for you and your family. This is Adrian Bates, better known as Broker Bates, A1 Realty, powered by EXP, 323-291-5900. Thank you so much, Eric.
Adrian, fantastic job. Man, I'm just loving this, folks. I'm loving this. This is it's not just great and practical advice, but it's a little inspirational. I mean, Adrian, you brought up pray about it, right? I mean, for those of us who are believers, we know that everything we have and possess is a gift from God, right? So why are you not praying for what you need, right? If you don't ask, you won't receive. If you don't knock, right, the door will not be open. So I really appreciate that. The other thing too is trust your team. You know, I mean, and this really speaks to what Peggie and Jenny we're talking about, you know, the right agent, the professional agent. Honestly, it really starts there. You have to work with somebody that you feel you can trust. I mean, what are you going to do? Go to real estate school overnight? You know, what are you going to do? Right? You become an investor overnight, an expert overnight on construction and housing and markets. I mean, really? Is that what you're going to do? No, you really do need to find the right person, and you have to trust them. You know, I went to the doctor the other day and I had to take some x-rays and what have you. And in fact, I'm going to find out today what's going on. But, you know, what am I going to do? The doctor's going to tell me what the issue is and what I need to do, and I'm going to go do it. I'm not going to say, hey, doc, you know what? Let me see. There's an online course over here for medical degrees. And I need to learn some things so I can figure out if what you're saying is correct. Now, it doesn't mean you don't do your due diligence and, you know, get second opinions. But when it comes to real estate, I think that having a trusted advisor is so important. Someone you can have faith in, that you can just, you have that sense. There's something about, I think God gives this to all of us, that sixth sense we have. You know, you ever been around someone and the back of your hairs just stood up, right? There's something not good about the person or the situation, right? You get to trust those instincts. And so I love that. Trust your team. The other thing too, Adrian, and you didn't say this, but I think it's implied, and that is trust the process. Because if you have a team, they do have a process to take you through all of this, right? So trust the process that you'll have to go to get to the position to make an offer. Man, I'm loving this. Next up is Ameer, Elahee, and Ameer. Man, I don't know what you're gonna say. How do you follow these incredible ladies? Man, it's on you. What say you, Ameer, Elahee?
Oh my goodness, Eric. Well, first of all, it's really tough following all of the talented and informational ladies that you have on the panel today. And at the behest of sounding redundant, I think that I may not be able to get to three, but I love Adrian's story. I have a very similar story. Just recently, where I had a client where we put in an offer that was actually above asking price. And the property didn't appraise, but the long story short is that we actually paid $10,000 above the actual appraisal price. And so my client was really concerned. We had done the research, and I actually went back about 60 days later, and I was able to actually take comparables of properties that were in escrow that closed subsequently after ours did. And those properties all appraised for $20,000 to $40,000 above what we got her property for, or actually her appraisal. And so that leads me to my first point, and that is we've got to look at the long term. So real estate has always been a long-term investment. I know that during that period from 2002 to like 2006, it became like Bitcoin or Dogecoin, and people were in and out of it. And so that's what a lot of our current buyers remember or even experienced. And so they are not as experienced like my in-laws, who have been in a property for over 50 years, bought it at 22,000, and now it's appraising over $1 million. So we have to understand that real estate is a long-term investment, even though some of the recent history is telling us otherwise. So we got to play the long game, not the short game, because a lot of times these properties will be, even if they're not our dream properties, they're in locations that are being redeveloped. I can remember going down Figueroa Avenue before the Staples Center and seeing homes that were all around on both sides of Olympic and all those areas. And there are people that still have homes in those immediate areas that I guarantee would have never imagined that their home values would be where they are now. Same thing with Inglewood and SoFi Stadium. So those properties that were 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and they were starter homes are now worth millions of dollars. And so it's the long-term investment. The second thing that I'll say is that location and flexibility are both the things that we have to keep in mind, especially when we're first-time home buyers. So our first-time home buyers, you may not be able to get 1 or 2 blocks from the school, Eric, as you mentioned earlier. But listen, if you can get 4 to 5 blocks away, or you can look at where the mall used to be, or they're doing a renovation project, or are they doing redevelopment in your area, then you actually are able to really get a toehold on property in a location that normally might not be the best. I always think about the Inland Empire, do a lot of work out there as well, about those folks that bought near the Ontario Mills, or those folks that bought near Victoria Gardens. Those places weren't always there. Just down the street from Victoria Gardens, they put in this new development, and it's got a new Stater Brothers, and it's got all of these things that increase the value that they've really just done in the last 4 or 5 years. And so location and flexibility is always important, because people said that some of those properties were too close to the freeway. Well, guess what? Now they're building infrastructure around, and because it's close to the freeway and the traffic is absolutely crazy, now it's actually more valuable than it was 10 years ago, because people now have to drive 15 or 20 minutes to get to the freeway. And here you are close to the freeway. And so that literally is something that the flexibility of the location is something that we've got to look at. And the other thing that I tell people all the time, even as I was listening to people talking, and that is that somebody may have touched on it a little bit, but it's the value. You know, what are the core values of the property? Does it have good bones? Is it something that you can work with? Is it something that you could rehab or add on to? The very first property that I bought was absolutely a 825 square foot house. And I never will forget, my late father was here, and I said, Dad, I just bought a house. Happened to be 2 on a lot. And we went in, and I was showing him the property, and I was really proud. And he looked at me and he said, is your wife gonna live in this house? Because he knows my wife has quite a considerable higher taste than I do. But what we were able to do with it later on was, as values increased, we literally increased the square footage by 1,200 square feet. We got a chance to put stuff where we wanted it. We tore down everything but one wall. And so it literally did turn into our dream home at the time. And so we always look at vision and what does it have that might be able to suit your needs later on down the road. So those are the 3 things that I'd love to be able to share with first-time home buyers. What's your vision? What's the location? And then it's a long-term, we got to play the long game.
Ameer, great job in breaking it down for us. And I like number 1, long-term investment. We don't talk about the rule of 72 enough. And that is the factor used to determine how an asset, whether it be a real property or even cash or in the bank, well, not necessarily cash in the bank, because banks don't really pay a whole lot, but you can determine how fast your money will grow if it's in the bank at a particular interest rate, or how fast your real estate will grow. Any asset you have will grow in value based on the rule of 72. So if the rate of appreciation is averaging, say, 7%, over 7 into 72 is a little over 10. That means a little bit over 10 years, that asset will double. So a home that a person buys, say, in the Inland Empire for $400,000, right? If it just averages 7% appreciation, that home will be worth $800,000 in 10 years. And the reality is, we know that if you're buying a $400,000 house, you're buying that because that's what you can afford. And you probably don't have the ability to save $400,000 over the next 10 years, which is what you would do in equity. So I really appreciate what you're saying about the long-term commitment. Real estate is a long-term game. Your parents or your father-in-law, at 22,000 now is worth $1 million. They've been there their entire lives. I mean, that is a story that we all want to tell, right? And be an example for our children. And the other thing too is the flexibility on location. I think that's so important. I've had many people tell me in going through the financing process that they don't want to have a long commute to work. How do you handle that when you get that objection, Ameer?
Well, one of the things that we talk about again is being able to look at what the actual objective is. And so I'll give you a classic example with, the housing prices in the city and even the county of Los Angeles. We're looking at it, and it, in a lot of cases, is driving people to other areas. And so what we're able to do is look at the actual distance of the commute versus the equity that they're actually going to build. And so we're saying, hey, you cannot afford to be, Staples Center adjacent or La Brea adjacent. But if you've got to go a little bit further out, because you could stay there and have a short commute and continue to rent, or you could actually look at increasing your commute and begin to build equity so that at some point in time, you actually may be able to sell that property and buy something else that's closer to where you want to go, or you may be able to pull cash out and then invest that cash into another asset so that then your actual, and I work with a lot of millennials and kind of that Gen Z, and I'm saying, you got to think, again, we're thinking long-term. So you may have to buy in San Bernardino County, but I tell them all the time, you're young enough to make the commute. I'm not at an age where I want to make that commute every single day. But the fact is that if you're building equity and building wealth there, you may be able to buy something else out there that creates an asset so that you don't feel obligated to have to go into an LA County or an LA City every day, so that you're actually easing your finances by building equity elsewhere. So again, it's strategy. And I know that a lot of times, especially once they get approved, that they've got this list of things. And I think it was Jenny that mentioned kind of the the buyer consultation. And so we set realistic expectations from the beginning. And if you don't do that, then you'll have people running around saying, I want to look here, I want to look there, and that's okay. But if we're not going to be looking in this particular area anymore, then we'll make a group decision that says, okay, we've exhausted all of our options here. This area is not working for us. Now, where's your second area? And I think someone else earlier mentioned, hey, you got to get 2 or 3 areas. So we start with our primary area first, and we exhaust all of those options. And then if we're not successful in that particular area, then we'll look at our next secondary area so that we begin the same process.
Ameer, really, man, I am just, I'm blown away, guys, by the incredible advice that has been provided here today. And honestly, I was just thinking as I was listening to you, Ameer, and then to everyone on the panel, I really feel humbled right now to be in association with such extraordinary people that are in the game of real estate. As a mortgage professional, I rely on real estate agents to bring me their clients, and to know that anyone working with anybody on this panel right now, they're getting professional, solid, well thought out advice and support. I mean, that's half the battle. I'm going to help them get the money right, but that's half the battle. And working with a very reputable, experienced agent that's going to tell them the truth, that's going to guide them through the process. And folks, they're all here on thepowerisnow.com. They're called VIP agents. That's what they are. Go to real estate affiliate on our homepage, thepowerisnow.com, and there you will find them. Now, I am truly honored to be in association with them. In addition to being the host of The Power Is Now, I'm also a mortgage advisor with First Bank. My license number is 461-807. The views and opinions that I express on this show are my own and do not necessarily represent First Bank, but First Bank is an established lender, been around since 1910, folks. They do just about everything, and we lend in 49 states. And so I feel that I must chime in on this great discussion from the perspective of a lender, right? And I'm going to follow Jenny and Peggie's lead. You know, the top three things I think you need if you want to compete in this market is you have to have an experienced mortgage advisor, a professional who has been in the game at least enough to know what's going on. Now, I have been a mortgage banker for 40 years. You're not going to find many people out there, you know, advising people on mortgages who've been in the game for 40 years. So I may be outside the bell curve a little bit in regard to my tenure as a mortgage advisor. But I love this business and I love helping people, advising them. And my advice is not just, hey, a product show and tell, but it's explaining the programs, how they work, and if they actually fit into their circumstances, right? Not everybody needs an FHA loan. Some can do conventional. Not everyone needs a down payment assistance. Some may not. And there may be other strategies and other programs that you can employ to get into a home now. So you need a mortgage advisor, someone who's looking to advise you. I tell people all the time, I have never sold a loan in my life. In 40 years, I've never sold a loan, right? I mean, if I'm talking to you, it's because you were referred to me and I'm advising you. I'm helping you to understand what programs are available that can help you get into your home. Maybe you don't have enough money. Maybe you have enough money for the down payment, but not enough reserves, you know, because you got to think about after the purchase, right? And so there's a lot of factors that come into play. So you need to have a professional, seasoned mortgage advisor. And I'm very happy to be in association and partnership with all these incredible agents. Number two, and this is so important, you need to find the money, right? And the money is available. The state has the money, the counties have the money, the cities have the money. There are nonprofits that have the money. And if you can't find it in a corporate entity, then you can find it at home. Mom and dad have the money. Grandfather and grandmother have the money. Your sisters and brothers have. I have a family right now where they are all the brothers and sisters are pooling their monies together to give to one of the members who are going to buy a first house. They're helping each other get into the game. And so I think that's so important for families to come together and to have those very real conversations about home ownership is so, so, so important. And then the last thing is that you have to believe that you can do it. You know, so I'm a believer. One of my favorite scriptures is that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And so you've got to be able to see it before it happens. Even Napoleon Hill said that if it's conceivable, right, it's then believable. And if it's believable, it's achievable. You can do it. But it starts with the right mindset and just believing that you can do it. Well, that's my contribution to the discussion. And I certainly hope that if you're watching or listening, that you have learned something today that will inspire you to keep pushing forward. Do not give up, right? Do not give up. You can do it. Well, when we come back, we're going to show you the money. One way where you can get the help you need to buy a home right now. You're listening to The Power Is Now Homebuyer Townhall. We'll be right back right after this commercial break.
The Power Is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small home ownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PIN, Real Estate Programming Guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate news and information from industry experts. Subscription is free. Sign up today. thepowerisnow.com. thepowerisnow.com.
And we're back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Power is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. Folks, we just finished a great discussion on what you can do as a buyer to be more competitive in the marketplace, to get into the game of homeownership. You can do it. I know you can. And it starts with having the right real estate professional and mortgage professional. And you can find them right here at The Power is Now. Next up is the money, right? Now, I'm not from Missouri, but they say that's the show me state, right? I don't know if Carolyn's from Missouri. We'll find out where she's from originally, but she's going to show us the money. Carolyn, again, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us on the Power is Now Homebuyer Town Hall.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. So I'm originally from California. I'm a native of Northern California, haven't moved very far. I'm down here in Sacramento, but it's the Golden State and I love being here. For those of you who have never heard of Golden State Finance Authority before, we're a housing finance entity here in California, a quasi-governmental entity that can create and structure programs around your standard mortgage products. And so what that means is that we can take an FHA loan that you've heard of, or a conventional finance loan through Freddie Mac, or a VA or a USDA loan, and then we can add on down payment and closing cost assistance to it. And when you're purchasing a home and you apply for a program like that, you're getting a mortgage loan and you're getting this piece of money to help you with all those associated costs involved in purchasing a home. Sometimes those can be extremely overwhelming. And so since we're all talking about how to address affordability and how to look at these challenges in today's market, I'm going to put out there how important it is for you as a home buyer to get educated, to educate yourself about what is available. And that sometimes means throwing out the old things that you thought, getting rid of the myths that are out there around what is required of you in terms of cash to get into a home purchase. Did you know that Fannie Mae and the Urban Institute have recently done another study, and they're still finding that the average home buyer, 82% of home buyers are unfamiliar with down payment assistance programs. It's like 82 or 85%. And in addition to that, over 70% of new home buyers out there still think that you need at least 10% or more to put down on a property to buy. And that hasn't been the truth for years, for decades. We have mortgage loan products, FHA's product that only requires 3.5% down. We have conventional financing out there that only requires 3% down. You know, and people think, they hear this word mortgage insurance and they get scared. Well, it's a tool to help you get into a home without having to come up with 20% down, even 15% down. It's a lot of money. I don't know about you, it would take me decades in order to save up 20 grand. So, you know, or 30 grand that may be required to get into a home purchase. So get educated about how much really is required of you in cash flow to get into a home purchase. With the down payment and closing cost assistance programs that we offer at Golden State Finance Authority, we're able to actually give you the money to meet that requirement as well. So if you're getting an FHA loan and you're looking at a down payment requirement of 3.5%, and the real estate agents can probably share with you, you may be looking at another 2 to 2.5%, 3% in closing costs. We can actually furnish you up to 7% in money to cover the down and a good portion, if not all, of your closing costs. How do we do that? Well, it's a part of how we structure these programs. One of our programs is called GSA Platinum, and it provides this money up to 5% of your loan amount as a 0% second mortgage. So you're getting a second loan to cover that down payment and closing cost money. But the great part is that it has a 0% interest rate. It's not accruing any interest. and it's forgiven after 36 months, 3 years. It's completely forgiven. In fact, we even forgive it along the way, 1/3 at a time. So after the first year you lived in that home, 1/3 of the money we gave you for down payment and closing cost assistance gets forgiven. After 3 years, it's all forgiven. So you start out building equity. You start out not having to come in with $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of your own money to purchase that home. Would that make it easier for you to buy today? That's where look at your team, talk to your lender, find out if a down payment assistance program is really the key to get you in that door. And these programs are pretty flexible. Eric, we can talk a little bit about the actual qualifying guidelines if you'd like. Like, what are the questions that you as a lender really have about these products and these programs?
Carolyn, one of the things that I really like about Golden State's Platinum program is the flexibility in the FICO score. Particularly the fixed rate conventional loan only requires a score of 640. And the better your score is, the more flexibility you provide on the debt to income ratio. You will go as high as 50% of the gross income as a total back-end ratio on a conventional loan with a 680 FICO score. So at 640, the debt ratio can exceed 45, but at 680, it can go to 50. And that difference of 5% could make all the difference in the world, especially in this market when property values are just so high. And so that's one of the things that I love about it. Now, FHA, you require a 660 FICO score, and I really wish you would bring it down to 640. That's another show, another time.
The FHA FICO score requirement is 660, but again, that flexibility is there. If the borrower has a 680 FICO, even with an FHA transaction, that can allow that debt to income ratio to go up to 50%. So, and I don't consider a 640, a 660 of an excellent credit score. So we're talking about, helping people to get into homes that don't have like excellent credit, but they have good enough credit and they're in a position where their debts and liabilities and their income still mean that they can afford this mortgage loan. But we are trying to help people out by being more flexible with our guidelines, allowing FICO scores down to 640, debt to income ratios up to 50%. One of the other flexibilities that I think is extremely important, and all of the agents should be considering this when they talk to buyers, is you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for down payment and closing cost assistance. There are times when people owned a home in the past and maybe now they're renting and they want to get back into the market and they think, well, I can't apply for a first-time home buyer program. Well, down payment and closing cost assistance through Golden State Finance Authority doesn't require you to be a first-time home buyer. There's even the flexibility that if you own a home today, if you're in a property today or you own a rental property today, you can use conventional financing to purchase another property that you're going to be moving into as an owner-occupied residence and get down payment and closing cost assistance on it. I don't know any other program that would provide down payment and closing cost assistance when you already have a property and you're moving into one, you're moving into a new property. So there's some flexibility there too. And sometimes it's hardships that people encounter, financial hardships, and they maybe lost their home or they had a foreclosure. And that isn't necessarily going to limit you. Again, no first-time home buyer requirement. We're very upfront and transparent about our debt to income ratios and our FICO score requirements. And there's flexibility around foreclosures and those types of situations where after a few years, the mortgages do allow you to purchase again. Do you agree? I mean, those are some really good flexibilities.
I love the flexibility that Golden State provides in the area of credit, debt to income ratio, not requiring to be a first-time home buyer. And I think that these are unique. I think it's a serious differentiator in the marketplace of down payment assistance and closing cost assistance. that Golden State provides. And I really appreciate that. It is a product of choice for many people. But it's not just because of the things that you've just outlined also, but let's keep in mind this down payment assistance is at zero interest. Talk about the forgivability of this as well.
Yeah, so for most borrowers, as I mentioned, it's going to be a 0% second loan that we give you, up to 5% with the Platinum program, up to 7% with our Open Doors program. But that money with the Platinum program is forgiven after 3 years. Now, we also, with the Platinum program, provide down payment and closing cost assistance as a gift on day one for certain occupations. So these include anyone who works in the medical or health field, anyone who works in those public sectors of like education, whether it's public or private. They work as a first responder or a firefighter, they work in law enforcement, any of those occupations, those borrowers are going to get the Platinum Down Payment Assistance Program as a gift on the first day. They're never going to have to pay that money back. And to find out a little bit more about whether your occupation fits into these categories, talk to the lender, talk about, find out, ask them if you specifically have access to programs based on where you work. And it's not just a police officer, it's anyone that works within a law enforcement agency. Could be someone who works in dispatch or administration, anyone who works in education. It could be someone who does maintenance on the property. It could be a librarian, it could be a teacher, it could be an administrator. And again, same thing with health and medical workers. Anyone who is working for a medical or health type company. And it's an extra added benefit. One of the most exciting things that I get to do is to hear stories and get letters from people who have purchased a home. And last year during COVID, I saw letters come in from numerous nurses and healthcare workers who were dealing with so much stress in their personal life, let alone trying to go out and buy a house in a market where you couldn't just roll into a house and check it out. And then they were able to purchase a home with down payment and closing cost assistance during all of the trials and tribulations of last year. And they were very touching stories. So again, we're here to help. We're here to make the affordability a bit better. And I think it's really about you educating yourself, creating that network, getting in touch with good professional experienced real estate agents, good professional experienced lenders who are working with these programs. We have a list of all of our lenders on our website. Eric is here with First Bank. You can ask them specific questions of First Bank. They are heavily involved in our down payment assistance programs. But create your network and then trust those professionals to get you through this process.
Great job, Carolyn. You always bring it when you are on the Power is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. And I love the Golden State Finance Authority for the wonderful flexibility that it provides anyone looking to buy a home, whether it be a first-time home buyer or not a first-time home buyer. I'm going to bring our VIP agents in to ask a few questions, and then we're going to wrap up this show. Let's start with Jenny Gonzalez. Jenny, man, what do you think about the Golden State program?
I absolutely love the Golden State program. And when I have a buyer that is not using the Golden State program, I ask why they're not using the Golden State program. My one question is, can you explain the difference in the rate with regards to income? Because there's an income bracket of 1 and 2 regarding the loans. And there is a difference in the rate regarding that and why that is.
Wow, great question.
That is a great question. So traditionally, Golden State Finance Authority has been doing business for over 28 years. And our primary focus has been on helping low income borrowers to purchase a home, but we've extended that to moderate income borrowers as well. So with our conventional financing in our down payment assistance programs, we set an income limit that is in that moderate income area. And what that means is it's around 140% of AMI, or area median income. And so that we're providing down payment assistance to the people who really need it in the low income class and the middle income class. Examples of that income limit would be in Riverside County, San Bernardino, LA, even in Fresno, it's $162,000. So we're talking about moderate income. It's not just programs for low income borrowers. However, what we do is we structure the interest rates a little bit more competitive, and we offer a little bit more flexibility in the guidelines for the borrowers who are in the lower income range. And so that's where the interest rates may change a little. So when you're talking to a loan officer and they determine where your income lies and whether or not you're getting a conventional loan or not, they're going to be able to determine what the interest rate on your loan will be. With an FHA, a government loan, a FHA, VA, or USDA loan, we don't set income limits at all. So those products, there's a set interest rate depending on how much in assistance that you want to get, and that's across the board, regardless of income. We do not have an income limit for our down payment assistance programs when someone is qualifying for a government loan. It's only when it's a conventional finance loan that we do set an income limit. The lower income borrowers are going to get a slightly more competitive interest rate than the borrowers in the middle income bracket. Does that kind of explain that a little bit better?
Yes, I actually got a little more clarification. Thank you very much.
Great question, Jenny. And there's a big difference between a quarter to as high as 3/4 of a point in interest rates between a borrower that falls in the low to moderate income category versus one that does not. And so thank you for clarifying that, Carolyn.
And I think that that's where it's really important when you're working with a lender who's familiar with this program, like especially the Platinum program, then they can take a look at which is better. Is it better for you to go with FHA financing, even though you could qualify for conventional, but maybe it's a better route to go? Or how much in assistance do you need? Because there's no requirement that you use only the money provided by Golden State Finance Authority. I think we all learned a good lesson this past year about how important it is to have a bit of money set aside, right? In case something comes up that we are not prepared for. And so there may be borrowers, you may be one of them, who has been saving and has 10, 15, 20,000 sitting in the bank so that you can buy a home. And my question to you would be, where's the value in keeping some of that? Would it make sense for you to access a down payment assistance program so that you only spend half of your cash resources and you can leave those in a savings account for a rainy day, for a situation that you weren't planning for some improvements that might come up on that property? Right. And utilize the down payment assistance for a portion of your down payment or a portion of your closing costs. And that's where, when you're working with the lender, you can determine what is the best route to go. You don't have to get all 5% in assistance. You can do 1% or 2%, 3% in assistance from Golden State Finance Authority. And you'll even see that it's a little bit lower interest rate when you want less money in assistance. But don't make those decisions for yourselves. Talk to your loan officer about where you are and trust that they're familiar with this program, and let them kind of run the scenarios with you to determine what is the right fit.
Well, great question, great answer, Carolyn. Adrian, you brought up units as part of your, the 3 things that a person can do to better position themselves in the market. Any questions in regard to units for Carolyn?
Carolyn, can you tell me more about buying 2 to 4 units? What program is available to the consumer?
So with our Platinum Down Payment Assistance Program, you can purchase up to 4 units if you do an FHA loan transaction. So that means with FHA, generally, an FHA loan only requires 3.5% in down payment, okay? So a borrower can do up to 4 units, buy a duplex, a triplex, even a 4-unit property, and only have to put 3.5% down. But if they are working with a program like Golden State Finance Authority, in addition to having that low down payment requirement, we can provide them the money for the down. Does that make sense? They're getting down payment assistance on a low down payment product, a product that doesn't require a lot. And then we can tack on to that product the actual money to cover that requirement on up to 4 units.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. With the 640 or 660 FICO?
It would be 660 for FHA and VA on that program. And what's amazing, Carolyn, is that it applies, the 4-unit applies for both FHA, which requires 3.5%, but VA doesn't require any money down at all. And you can use VA to buy a 4-unit building and get the 5% from Golden State you need for additional down payment if you wanted to put it, or you can apply it all to closing costs. And to me, I mean, what a game changer it is for a veteran to be able to have this and not typically rely on the seller, because the VA no-no is basically a seller contributing to the down payment or a lender contributing to the down payment. This enables a veteran to operate kind of independently of the lender and of the seller, be able to make a full price offer if necessary, get the down payment assistance they need or closing cost assistance, and close the transaction with the Golden State Finance Authority.
That's just amazing. And the VA, it's so sad that so many veterans don't use their VA to buy a home or buy up to 4 units. And is it true that I heard that FHA goes up to, on 4 units, to $1.5 million or $1.6 million? Is that true?
You know, actually, if you go to qualifiedtobuynow.com, I have a mobile app, qualifiedtobuynow.com. Download the mobile app and you'll see a link there for the FHA VA loan limits. And I believe for LA County, it is up there. It's between 1.4 to 1.5 million dollars on a 4-unit property. Now, just because FHA says they'll go that high doesn't mean it will work. There's a whole different approach to underwriting units as opposed to a single family home. The actual property itself has to be underwritten. The property itself has to debt service, has to qualify, and then the buyer has to qualify. So there are many situations where a buyer may be pre-approved to buy, you know, a $1.5 million 4-unit building, but the property itself does not debt service, and so they're not eligible to buy it. That's a whole nother show, which we need to do, right?
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing that you could buy a 2, 3, 4-unit building with 3.5% down. I mean, that's unheard of. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And if that property is within the range that we can actually do, which is 548,250, that's our loan limit for the GSFA programs. If it's in that lower range, then you can qualify for down payment or closing cost assistance on it. So utilize the FHA transaction, utilize an FHA loan, and look at buying a multi-unit property. But if you do want the down payment and closing cost assistance, we do have that limit. We're looking at properties that aren't priced above about 570,000 because we have a loan limit on our program, so 548,000.
That's amazing. I've been promoting a lot of my millennials and Generation X and Y, every generation, to go ahead and buy 2 to 4 units, especially if they're single and don't have any children. I'm saying, why not buy a duplex or 3 to 4 units and have someone help you pay the mortgage? And with your program, I mean, why wouldn't they? It's amazing. Thank you so much. I love that program. I can't wait to promote it.
Thank you, Adrian, for a great question. And thank you, Carolyn, for clarifying that. I want our audience to know that I wish, I mean, oh my God, I wish that Golden State would provide that 5% up to the FHA limit of 4 units, but it is limited to 548,250 up to 4 units. So normally on a standard FHA, yes, you can go into the $1 million range, but 548,250 is their maximum loan amount. Ameer, I know you had a question about cosigners.
Thanks, Eric. This is so much great information. But I do run into people who may not qualify for as much home as they'd like when it comes to being able to purchase. And so they ask about qualify if they could bring someone else in on the loan with them. So could you give us details about how that best works?
Yes, with the down payment assistance program, Platinum through Golden State Finance Authority, we do allow for co-borrowers on an FHA loan. So if you go with FHA financing through us, through our programs, you can have somebody else actually help qualify you for that mortgage loan. And you know, this is important. We should have brought this up earlier, all of us. This is a part of trying to get into a home in today's market and how to make it more affordable. Sometimes people forget that you have that option of somebody else helping you with qualifying for that mortgage loan and getting on that loan itself so that you can get your foot in the door. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a partner, but we do allow for co-borrowers. We do have to follow FHA's guidelines around co-borrowers and co-signers, but we do allow them if you do an FHA loan.
Great. And one final question, do they have to live in the property?
So that would be what we call a non-occupant co-borrower, where they're not living in the property, and we do allow it, but we're going to follow FHA's guidelines on what they may restrict or what guidelines they may have around it. So it's allowed in the program, but we're going to defer to the agency or FHA for what specifically they may require around that. And do you have any thoughts on that side of it, the lending side, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. So FHA, VA will allow, well, VA, all parties need to be a veteran. Otherwise, then the down payment becomes a factor, actually putting money down on a no money down program if they're a non-veteran. But for a standard FHA loan, non-occupant co-borrowers are absolutely allowed, and non-occupant co-signers. And here's the difference, folks, between a co-signer and a co-borrower. A co-borrower is actually on the loan with you, and they are on title with you, and they may or may not live in that property with you, right? And so a co-borrower can be a non-occupant co-borrower or an occupant co-borrower, but they are in partnership with you. They are in title and on the loan together. A co-signer is only on the loan. They're not entitled on the property. Now they could occupy the property, or they could not occupy the property. It just depends on the relationship and the situation. You know, in many cases, if parents are co-signing for their kids, then they will not occupy. There'll be a non-occupant co-signer, and they're not entitled to the property, just on the loan. And it is a game changer. I mean, especially here in California, where prices are just ridiculous and just getting more and more challenging. A lot of kids are staying in the nest much longer than they want to stay. You're right. And so if they could get out, and if the only way you can get them out, parent, is to get on the loan with them, then get on the loan with them, right? Get your freedom, right? And get them started. Let's think about it. You know, they're going to end up getting the house you're in anyway, right? We can't take our houses.
I had two of my sons buy within 2 months. I said, get out.
Absolutely. You can't take the house with you. You know, we have another home in heaven, not made with hands, right? So, you know, let them, they're going to inherit what you have. You might as well help them get what they can have now for their families. So great questions, Ameer. Peggie, you're out there in hot Arizona. I know that you're open for business. Anybody who can't afford it here can come on down to Arizona. But do you have any questions about California? Because the Golden State program only applies to the state of California.
Well, we have our down payment assistance programs here in Arizona as well. They may not be as grand and awesome as Golden State's programs, but we do have some down payment assistance programs, and everything from pathway to purchase to grants that are available in different municipalities. So we do have some down payment assistance programs as well. And Golden State, I envy you, all the way up to 1.5 million for an FHA. Wow. That's all I can say.
Now, keep in mind that 1.5 million is the standard FHA. Let me ask you something, Carolyn. So depending on the down payment assistance, you can go all the way down to 0 and get a really low rate with Golden State. So if you're not using the silent second, would there be a limit? Or is there going to be a limit regardless? Because your limit, and Peggy, I'm really asking this question to address your point, because the limit is high on a standard FHA, up to 1.5 or around that range. But when you're bringing in down payment assistance, at least with Golden State, you are limited regardless of the number of units to 548,250. So Carolyn, can you clarify that for us?
Yeah, this is great to clarify. So what we're talking about now is the loan limit, the limit on the mortgage loan itself, and not sales price, the limit on the loan itself. And that's where our down payment assistance programs do have a limit of 548,250. So whether you put in your own money towards the transaction or you utilize down payment assistance from Golden State Finance Authority, or a combination of both, at the end of the day, that loan limit has to be at 548,000 and less. If you were getting the maximum amount of assistance through our Platinum program, which is 5%, it means you could purchase a house that's about 570,000. Apply that money that we provide towards the mortgage loan so that that mortgage loan doesn't exceed our loan limit. But when you're going with, maybe a 2 or 4 unit property that's more expensive than that, you won't be able to get a down payment assistance program, but FHA is still a great option for those expensive properties and a way to finance them with when they're 2, 3, and 4 units.
No, well, thank you for clarifying that. So I don't know what the FHA limits are. Actually, if you go to qualifiedtobuynow.com, you can download the mobile app, and there you'll see all the limits for FHA across the United States if you want to know what the FHA limit is. And you can also run the calculator and determine what the payments would be. Now, Peggy, I do know that Arizona, as you know, Yvonne McFadden, another extraordinary VIP agent out there in Arizona, is on the team. And you guys do have some great down payment assistance programs. And I am working with First Bank to see what we can do to play a role in helping your buyers utilize down payment assistance in the state of Arizona. So right now, if they just need a traditional financing, conventional or government, of course, we lend in all 49 states, and we are ready to serve. Any other questions for Carolyn in regard to California? Because I know there's some folks moving from Arizona to California.
Well, at this time, I don't have any further questions, but if I have questions for people that are moving there, definitely, Eric, you will be the lender of choice. That is for sure. I know the deal will get done, okay?
Thank you so much for that. Well, folks, this has been a really great show. And I want to end with all of our VIP agents sharing their final thoughts and comments as we wrap up. If you have a question, please do not hesitate to drop us an email. We'll make sure at the conclusion here that our VIP agents state their email address if it's not already on their backgrounds on this video. In addition to that, you can reach out to them or to me if you have any questions at all about financing real estate. We can help you. So let's begin where we started with Jenny G out of Corona. Jenny, any final comments on the show today?
I just thought it was very educational. I had a great time, and I'm so glad we got so many people on today. I love that we have this forum that we can talk things through and we can educate people at the same time. So this is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374. My license number is 01249788. I've been licensed since 1998, and you can register on my website at jennygsaleshomes.com. I've heard it's an awesome website. I get all kinds of hoopla over it, and I have an upcoming listing that we can talk about later, and that's it for today.
Thank you, Jenny. Looking forward to the listing interview on our market update. Folks, tune in on Fridays where you can learn about the listings that are available by our VIP agents. Next up is Adrian Bates. Adrian, final comments.
Thank you, Eric. Oh my God, I got a wealth of information. Oh, Carolyn, I just love you. And that is just amazing. I can't wait to try to sell 1 to 4 units with the program. You and Eric are an awesome team. My name is Adrian Bates. I'm better known as Broker Bates, and you can reach me at 323-291-5900. And my email is so easy, adrianbatesrealtor@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Eric, and it's been a pleasure. And let's go to work and let's help. I always say that I just don't show homes. I make people's dreams come true. So thank you.
I love that. I just don't show homes. I make people's dreams come true. Wow, that's a great model for every real estate professional. Next up is Peggie Simmons. Peggie, final comments.
Eric, again, this afternoon has just far exceeded my expectations. And thank you so much for Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you so much for that information. I have information to compare Arizona to California's down payment assistance programs. And again, I sell from castles, from condos to castles. And whether you're looking to buy that condo or whether you're looking to buy that castle, I am here to serve you in Arizona, Phoenix metro area. I am the designated broker owner, Realty Marketing Group. I have 34 years of valuable experience. If you have someone that's looking to purchase a home, I am here in Arizona to serve your needs. Again, my phone number is 480-201-0654. 480-201-0654. Call me. I am available Monday through Saturday. Sunday is my day of worship. And I like to tell my clients, I give you 6 days. Please feel free to choose one of those 6 because Sunday is my day to spend time with my Lord.
Amen to that. I love the energy you bring, Peggie Simmons. 6 days a week she gives you, but one day is for her Lord. Lord have mercy. Thank you, Peggie, for being with us today. Next up is Ameer Elahee.
Well, thanks again, Eric, for having me. It's always a blast when we get together. You always have such a great panel, and I'm excited about the opportunity to get out and actually help more people realize the American dream. I am also the Inland Empire Chapter President of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. My license number is 013-13504. My cell phone number is area code 626-625-0099, and I am always here at your service.
Next up, Carolyn, your final comments.
You know, this was a great panel today. We had all these professional real estate agents sharing with you the ways to address the challenges in today's market. And with that, I'm going to leave you with this final thought of how important it is to work with an experienced real estate agent. You didn't hear any hesitation from these agents about the price challenges in the market, the low inventory, without solutions as well. They didn't talk about the challenges to affordability without how much work they put into how to address those, the solutions, how to be flexible, how to be patient. So trust the people that you bring into your network. Create relationships with a good real estate agent. Find yourself a good experienced lender who doesn't shy away from FHA or VA or USDA loans, someone who's experienced with conventional financing as well, so you have all your options on the table. and find one that also is experienced with down payment and closing cost assistance programs, such as the ones by GSFA. You didn't hear any hesitation from First Bank about these types of programs because we're not layering a bunch of additional requirements and guidelines on our lenders. Our lenders qualify you for your mortgage loan, just like they would qualify you for any other standard mortgage product that doesn't come through an agency like us. And then they keep everything on track. We don't slow down the process with any additional hoops and compliance review that they have to go through. So work with lenders who are willing to put in the work, their experience, and they don't shy away from the products and the programs that you need.
Carolyn, thank you so much for saying all of that and participating on the show tonight. Folks, if you are interested at all in learning more about Golden State Finance Authority and you want to just kind of do a deep dive, well, it's available for you. Go to thepowersnow.com and there you'll find under Mortgage Spotlight, a 4-part series, 4 of 5 parts, part 5 coming soon, available, in which Carolyn and I go into detail about Golden State, about the Open Door program, about the Platinum program. It is chock full of great information. You can also find those videos on the Golden State Finance Authority website. And so I'm just honored to be a partner with Golden State. Well, folks, that's a wrap of another great show here on The Power Is Now Homebuyer Town Hall. Again, we're live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope. We are also on our podcast, which is distributed through just about every platform you get your podcast from. And soon, folks, we will be on television. That's right. We will be on television. You'll be able to watch us on any smart TV, download our app. You'll be able to catch us on Roku and on Amazon Fire Stick. We are going to be a network coming soon. And so look out for more details about that. Now, I want you to do a couple of things for me. If you have really enjoyed this information today, please share the link. If you're watching us on Facebook, share the link. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, or if you're watching on our website, please share this information. That's why it's free. We want everyone to have it. You know, knowledge is power, and the power truly is now. And this knowledge is free that you're getting. Also, if you're looking for a seasoned real estate professional, please reach out to us. You know, these are truly seasoned individuals. That's the only way they can be even on our website and participate in our program. They are true VIPs with the experience, the education, the transactions. They really know what they're doing. You can find them at thepowersnow.com under real estate affiliate. Finally, folks, remember that, you know, it's tough. There are challenges, but with every challenge, there is a solution. As Carolyn has just laid out for us, we have solutions to getting into a home. You just need to reach out to us. And more importantly, you need not give up. Don't give up. Stay focused on the goal. You will achieve it. You will achieve. The enemy wants you to stop. He wants you to give up. He wants you to feel like it's not your time. It is your time, right? It's all about making a decision that you too can become a homeowner, and the opportunity is just around the corner. You just need to keep seeking and you will find it. But thank you for watching today. Remember, we are at our best and we maximize our success when we act now, right now. The power is now. Thank you for watching.
The Power Is Now Media is worldwide with growing audience of future homebuyers, investors, builders, developers, real estate agents, and brokers. The Power Is Now Media is well positioned to increase awareness and produce results for our growing roster of advertising partners. An advertisement on any of our platforms is the right step toward reaching and communicating key brand messages to a targeted network of individuals, families, and communities interested in housing. Our content areas include feature stories and profiles on successful real estate agents, business owners, government, and community leaders. The Power Is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small homeownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PEN, Real Estate, and Programming Guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate and mortgage news and information from industry experts. VIP agents are able to feature listings each week. The Power Is Now TV radio podcast features weekly shows that include Homebuyers Townhall, Real Estate Roundtable, VIP Agent Spotlight, and so much more. Each week, VIP agents have opportunities to be featured guests on the shows. VIP agents can discuss and showcase houses, neighborhoods, and provide brief introduction. The interviews are unlimited 10 to 15 minutes on each current listing. This product alone separates you from your competition. The Power Is Now delivers to you market update interview to promote listing weekly, promotional biographical video, co-host a bi-monthly Homebuyers Town Hall show, featured subject matter expert on Real Estate Roundtable show, The Power Is Now Program Guide e-magazine, The Power Is Now National e-magazine, article writing and blogging, social media content customization, inclusion and press releases, graphic design services, business and performance coaching, technology support, referrals, lead generation opportunities, and management support.